It was the night before Christmas, and strange and terrible events began to happen in a small town on the west coast of the United States. People began to hear strange sounds from the dungeons, see shadows flitting through the darkness, and feel a cold, ominous presence around them. The locals were horrified, but no one knew, which soon became obvious. Demons had risen from hell and threatened all of humanity. Through destructive portals, they entered the world of the living and began to terrorize the city. People disappeared without a trace, their bodies were brutally mutilated, and the city began to sink into darkness and despair. But by this time, the authorities did not know what to do. They were faced with an unprecedented evil that could not be defeated by conventional means. The security forces tried to fight the demons, but to no avail. Every time they killed one, others appeared. Meanwhile, a small group of brave adventurers, led by a local priest, decided to go to the heart of hell to try to find a way to stop the demons and return normal life to the townspeople. They penetrated into the depths of the underworld, where trials, fears, and deadly dangers awaited them. So, the brave group of adventurers and the priest continued their dangerous journey through the abysses of hell, facing terrible trials at every turn. They faced demonic traps, sinister entities, and dark forces that sought to destroy the world. All the members of the group faced their own fears and doubts, and every step into hell required all possible willpower from them. But despite all the difficulties, they did not give up. They felt sorry for the people who had become victims of demons, and they were ready to do anything to restore balance between the worlds of the living and the dead. Every obstacle, every battle was passed by them with fearless determination. But the further they advanced, the clearer it became what an incredible evil lurks deep into hell. Finally, when they reached the very center of hell, where all the sinister creatures slumber, the most terrible battle in the history of mankind awaited them. Will there be a victory over the demons, or will hell take over the world of the living? Will a group of brave adventurers be able to return to daylight and tell the world what happened? In the depths of hell, the answers to these questions remain hidden in the darkness waiting in the wings. The dark forces of hell will stop at nothing to stop an attempt by a group of seekers. But the hope of victory smolders in the hearts of brave fighters, and they are ready to go to the very end to bring light back to the world of people. They were on the verge of destruction, fighting demonic forces in the very heart of hell. But in the darkness and despair, they found a source of light. The priest, possessing ancient knowledge and traditions, found a weapon, a forgotten artifact capable of striking a strong blow at the very source of evil. Entwined in a single will, the group desperately went forward, making their way through hell. They faced demons, giants, and terrible creatures who tried to stop them in their mission. Bloody battles broke out everywhere, but they managed to break through to the very source of evil. And there, in the last rush, they met with the chief of demons himself, the Archdevil, the embodiment of all evil and darkness. The battle was ruthless, and when it seemed that all was lost, the priest took the artifact in his hand and dealt a fatal blow. But what followed remained a mystery. Instead of death, the Archdevil disappeared, and instead of darkness, a dazzling light appeared over the heads of the heroes. A group of adventurers found themselves outside hell, in the world of the living. But since then, they have increasingly seen signs of demonic influence in the real world. The fear and horror left over from the battle continued to haunt them, and the question of whether there was a true victory over evil remained unanswered. Perhaps the Archdevil is still lurking in the shadows, waiting for his time to return and plunge the world into darkness again. After returning from hell, the members of the adventurer group gradually began to realize that some invisible force remained with them. They felt that something sinister had entered their world from the depths of the underworld. Although the archdevil was defeated, his demonic influence continued to spread in the world of the living, as if the archdevil's body had been destroyed, but his spirit had not disappeared. The heroes faced restless dreams, visions, and dark forces that instilled fear in them. Every day the impact of this evil intensified, and it seemed to them that they could no longer be sure of the reality of the world around them. They turned to the priest for help, but he himself witnessed strange and mysterious phenomena. Soon they discovered an artifact that they had brought out of hell, which has a strange and powerful effect on others. They realized that something more than they could have imagined remained with them after their return. Each of the band members began to feel that something terrible and inexplicable was awakening inside them. The forces of evil that continued to enter their world from the depths of hell influenced their thoughts and feelings. They felt their inner world gradually decomposing under the influence of an unfriendly force. Their struggle against demonic influence became more and more desperate. And while they were trying to solve the mystery of the artifact, it continued to spread darkness and destruction around. Incomprehensible events took place around them. People disappeared, and unexplained disasters and natural disasters began in the world. The priest, who has always been a pillar and model of wisdom for the group, began to show strange signs of demonic influence. His soul was exposed to the power of evil from hell, and the more they investigated the mystery of the artifact, the clearer it became that the priest carried a piece of that terrible force that they had defeated in hell. Now the heroes had to find a way to stop the evil that threatened to destroy everything they had ever known. They had to find out the true essence of the artifact and figure out how to use its power to fight evil. Not knowing where freedom ends and enslavement of the soul begins, the heroes tried to solve the mystery of the artifact, but every touch of it gave them a feeling of indefinite darkness and anxiety. They faced unimaginable difficulties when they tried to figure out which image of demonic power they had attracted to their world, but they understood that there was very little time to solve the riddle. The priest, feeling that he was becoming more and more a puppet in the hands of evil, asked the group for help. He knew that his soul was under threat, and that his life was connected with the demonic influence that they had brought with them from hell. In search of answers, the group went in search of ancient texts and artifacts that could illuminate the mystery of the artifact's origin. But as they uncovered the secrets of the past, they encountered long-lost legends and legends about the rebirth of the power of evil in the world. Faced with new threats and dangers, they realized that their path lay much further than they had ever imagined. They saw that they had not just become the tools of this evil, they were now part of this darkness that filled the world. Every day, the mysterious forces of evil had a stronger and stronger influence on the group of adventurers. The priest, who was the support for everyone, literally turned right in front of their eyes, his face radiating horror and despair. He whispered frightening prophecies and warned everyone about the outcome of events, hatred and chaos that threatened the whole world. But the main threats often come from within, and the group found that the power of evil had already penetrated each of them, causing dark and insane thoughts. The oppressive feeling of darkness swallowing them up from within has become an integral part of their reality. They understood that they needed to look into the eyes of darkness and find a way to the light. But every step in this dark maze seemed more confusing and frightening. The group was torn between the desire to find the truth and the fear that tormented them from the inside. Their fate, and perhaps the fate of all mankind, depended on whether they could withstand the eternal darkness that raged in their hearts. But one thing was clear: only a genuine discovery of the true essence of this darkness could bring them hope of salvation. And now, when evil emanated from their every look, They realized that the path they had to go through would be full of trials, deadly dangers, and sacrifices. Through darkness and suffering, they must find answers, unravel the mysteries, and free their inner luminary from the darkness that has possessed them. The group of adventurers understood that they needed to find the source of darkness and expose its essence, free their souls from its influence. They set off on a journey, realizing that their own hearts had become a battleground between light and darkness. Since the days and weeks spent searching, they have faced many difficulties and losses. However, at each step, they also discovered unexpected true friendships, mutual support, and strength that grew from their own hearts. And finally, during sunset at the top of the mountain, they discovered the most hidden corner of hell, where evil lurked, fed by themselves. They challenged this vision of the darkness that held them in its chains. And in a battle as terrible as it was internal, they freed their souls. The darkness disappeared, and their hearts were illuminated by the light of victory. When they returned to the ordinary world, they discovered that the artifact that had brought them so much pain and fear had destroyed their freedom from evil. They realized that the false belief in their own strength that led to the fall goes hand in hand with their own ability to do more, to the ordinary and unbridled light of kindness and purity. Their victory over evil was not without victims, but now the group knew that their strength had been restored, friendship had been strengthened, and trust in each other had only strengthened. They knew that although evil might leave this world, their steadfastness and devotion to each other would forever remain. Now they had only one task: to share their experiences and help others unravel the mysteries of a world filled with light and darkness.